Okay.
Welcome, you guys. Woo woo. So excited to be here. I've got some amazing people who are joining us today. And, it feels like reconnecting with friends because I've had this wonderful opportunity to get to know each of these different people as they have gone through their program with Jumpstart. And it's just been incredible. And I'm hearing like a little bit of an echo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to see if I can get that echo camera, get my input to be my Yeti. Okay, check, check. Check, check, check. Awesome. No echo anymore. Woo, we did it. Love when we have to work with technology. And Letty's having some issues with her technology today as well. So you see her beautiful picture, but we're not able to actually see her. We also have Audrey Gibson, who is joining us, and we have Miss Dory Tutoring, who's always is joining us as well, which is fantastic, and I'm super excited to have you guys. All right. So I'm seeing if I can get that echo to disappear and make it so that it's not. It came on back all of a sudden. Okay, I think I got it to go. There we go. We're good. We're good. Oh man, tech does not always want to be our friend, does it? No, no. And I think this is like, it's okay. It's okay, you guys, to make mistakes. It's okay for tech not to work okay one day. It's not going to be the end of the world. Does it mean that you don't, go live in front of your people because you're having some tech issues? No, you figure it out and you move on. Right? So it's awesome, awesome stuff. All right. Oh, I think we have somebody with their sound on the YouTube channel on. So if you have like any other device that's on, you want to make sure that you turn the volume all the way off on that, and that will definitely take care of that. Now I want to make sure I can hear you guys. All right, I'm going to have one. Okay, Audrey, say something because I want to turn on the right one. Got it. So we have turned one of you guys on so that we can hear you guys. I love it. Oh, Audrey, how are things going?
It is going. This is like a crazy little summer. I mean, usually my summers are like, all right, let's see if I can scrounge. But now it's like, hey, I heard about you and yeah, come get me. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. So
Yeah.
things
And
are
how
going
long you've been
well.
tutoring? How long you been tutoring now?
This going on year 3.
Mhm.
Can't
And
believe it,
that's where
right?
it happens. So yeah. That's a magical number. Like come year 3, like if you had like a down season, you can start expecting not to have that down season as much anymore. Like that the roller coaster begins to go away as long as you're consistent and continue to put yourself out there. So
Yeah.
that's very, very, very typical. A lot of people they get really upset and they think, "Oh my gosh, people don't want tutors in the summer. They're not going to want to hire me." But you're not having that anymore because people know who you are. They're starting to refer you a lot more than they did before and all of that
Mhm.
stuff. So that's fantastic. So Audrey, tell people like where you were at when you got started in the process of becoming a tutor.
Well, about, as I said, like 3 years ago, I decided that I needed to leave the classroom. And it was just before the pandemic was about to hit and everything was about to shut down. And a week before they made the announcement that they were closing schools, I told my principal I wasn't going to come back. And I was like, I'm going to still work. I'm not going to be one of those teachers that were like, all right, I ain't coming back and just straight chill. Like I was still going to work out the rest of the year. And then the pandemic hit and I still kept my kids, responsible. And I just looked up what I wanted to do because I know I still love to teach because that was part of me. But I just got tired of all the foolishness. So I looked up and then boom, saw like one of your earlier videos and I was like, tutoring, online tutoring, like could I do this? and signed up for the Jumpstart. But of course, I got the first time I did the Jumpstart, I got there towards the end. So it was
Mhm.
like I was trying to play catch up. I got overwhelmed and all this other stuff. But then I was like, look, let me go back and do it from the beginning. So much better. Things made sense and I was able
Mhm.
to connect. Still talking to the people that were in my Jumpstart. We still like exchange. If I get someone, because I do secondary math, so if I get someone that's elementary, yeah, I'm not doing that. I love the little kids, but I do not have the patience. So I always refer them to like other tutors. And we still have our network. We still kind of chit chat and we grow. And yes, I've gone through ups and downs, and we've talked multiple times. I cried in the corner over there multiple times. Like, what am I doing? What is happening? Am I doing it right? And then after a while, once you start getting the kids and start getting the students and see them succeed, it just all of a sudden their success becomes my fuel. And
Yeah.
then before you know it, you got one kid, and then you got three kids, and then all of a sudden you got 20 kids. And now, not this summer, but during the school year, I was fully booked, like with
Mhm.
32 students. Um,
Yay.
and yeah, crazy. Uh,
Yeah.
it's a yay, but it's like, yay. But
Yes, I
at the
know.
same
I know that
time,
yay. I know that yay.
right? You're like, yay, what is happening? Yes, yes. And I had like algebra one, geometry, algebra two. There's times I'll go to the kid, I'm like, all right, who are you? Hello, hi. And especially I taught a lot of student athletes. I also had non-athletes as well, but a lot of my kids are student athletes because I used to be a professional athlete. So we just have that connection. And to see them go from I hate math to I was teaching my colleagues or I was teaching my classmates and all this stuff, and I showed the teacher how you showed me, and he was like, oh, where'd you learn that from? And I'm like, all right, so I'm shaking some waves around. I'm like, yeah, it's the old way, none of this other stuff.
Yeah.
But it was just it's a process. If I can say anything, it's a process. But if you
Mhm.
stick with it and all of a sudden you just need one student to really just hone in on that person, it's going to gel, it's going to connect.
Mhm.
And before you know it, you're going to soar. So
Yeah.
it's like baby steps. It's going to take time, because there was times I've called you and I said, why is this not happening? I see so many other people that are excelling and I'm trying to just stick with my one student, and it's going to take some time, but
Yeah.
it's good stuff.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
It is good stuff, and we get to fall in love with teaching again and just really focus on the teaching part of it and not have to worry about all the other admin and all of that kind of stuff. So it's it's
No.
it's pretty awesome. And as you went through Jumpstart, you ended up getting the most students as you went through that program. How many do you
Mhm.
remember how many students you got?
I want to say, and I don't want to hype myself up, I want to say it was like 20.
Yeah, I think it was around there.
Um,
Yeah.
it was around there. And
Yeah.
I still have them. I
Yeah.
still have those kids. A couple of them left, but they came back. So that's why I'm
Oh,
like,
okay.
yeah, kind of like the left. And I'm like, yeah, we're going to chill on tutoring. And then all of a sudden the parents like, oh no. No. Let's bring you back.
Yes,
So,
yes.
but it's good. And more kids are coming in. And now I'm like at a particular school. Like I'm not in the building, but they pass my cards out to a
Oh,
lot of their kids. So it's like I'm really starting to
nice.
get into that connection.
Yes, and those networking opportunities that are available to all of us are really, really pivotal. And when you can start, finding those groups of people that are going to need your services. Certain schools you can build relationships with. Not all schools are going to be open-minded to passing out your business cards, but it really is like a process as you go through that. And I love that you have some of those same connections with some of the other people that have gone through the program as well. How cool is that? Because you had mentioned that you get to like pass students to people that are not your ideal student, which then frees you up to only work with the students that you love working with. And I think that's so cool. that you have the opportunity to do that. That's amazing, amazing, amazing. So, kudos to you and the business that you're building and the success that you're still experiencing 3 years later into the mix. It's just awesome, and we have some people that are they're like on that fence and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I really need Jumpstart right now. I have some people like, I'm going to try to do it all on my own and then I'll see if I need Jumpstart. What would you say to somebody like that?
Don't. Let me be blunt. If you don't know anything about me, I'm very straight to the point. No, don't do it. Because it is a certain part of anxiety, especially when you go from being a teacher to a tutor. You have to change your mindset completely.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you're not doing lesson plans. Yes, there's deadlines, there's organization. We got that. And the content you got. But there's that other aspect, like the business, and really, like you said, how to find your ideal client. You don't have to say yes to everybody. Trust me. And you don't have to devalue yourself in order to get a yes as well. So Jumpstart kind of really pumps you up with that. It gives you that foundation. So then, I always like to say, in order for you to think outside the box, you got to know that you're in a box. So having the Jumpstart kind of gives you those walls, those parameters to kind of help build you up, and then you can expand. But don't try to put the cart before the horse and try by yourself. You're going to lose your mind. It's too much. So that's why when you're with the people in Jumpstart, I like to network and to socialize with the people there and just take it and run with it. Yeah, don't do it by yourself. No.
Because we think, oh, I know everything. What you don't know is that here's what they don't know. I'm about to make every single mistake that everybody who's ever come before me has had to make that didn't get help from somebody else. Right? Like I find people making the exact same mistakes. They come up with they want to come up with a business name so they can find the URL so that they can then create a business card. And so they start creating these business cards and they haven't really identified and really figured out like what it is that they're doing, right? They're just like, oh, people do these business cards. Let me buy it. So they're spending money on things that you have to really think through the process. In Audrey's case, it makes sense to have business cards because she has a school who has said yes to pass them out. But in everyday life, I do not have any business cards anymore because I'm not going up to just strangers being like, here's information about my business. Here's information about my business. What would happen? They would take that, they'd throw it away. What I do instead is if I'm really having a true conversation with somebody about the struggles that their child is having in reading, I say, I would love to be able to continue this conversation and maybe we can set up a time to do a free assessment. Would you mind putting your email inside of my phone? And I give them my phone so they can give me their contact information.
Yeah.
And then we continue the conversation. It's not me just being like, here's my services. Oh, please tell everybody that you know about my tutoring, right? It is a legit, I care about your child. Let's see if this is going to be a right fit for you. So that's why I don't even have any business cards today. So I think it's important to realize like, what is the business card strategy? Do you know what your strategy is? Do you have a plan that you're going to use with that strategy? Are you going to networking events where you are going to need to have a business card? Or if we're online, a lot of our marketing is done online, right? And so LinkedIn gets to be my business card, or Instagram gets to be my business card in a way, or Facebook gets to be my business card in a way, or my website gets to be my business card in a way, right? You start thinking about how can I use online to be able to drive that traffic. So a lot of us don't know the mistakes that we're about to make are the mistakes that every tutor that's come before us has made that's never gotten help.
Right.
And we want to help you be able to skip those mistakes so that you can get success faster.
Exactly.
Oh, you got 20 students and was it 8 weeks, I think, was the program at that point in time?
Yes, it wasn't the 10-week, it was the 8 weeks. So it was a
So
lot of hustling. It was a lot
yes.
of like basically, hi, how you doing? Social media, making flyers, talking to my local businesses, talking to my friends, families. It was just a lot of, and then all of a sudden people started coming like, oh, well, you do tutoring. Well, my child needs tutoring. And then before you know it, you work with one kid after a couple sessions, then they're like, oh, well, my cousin is blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, I just tutored them a couple of days ago. Yeah, I heard about you and blah, blah, blah. And then it starts spreading. And then
Yeah.
most of my clients are word of mouth, except for one.
Yeah. That's awesome. And that's what we
Right.
want. We want to eventually create the business where it all becomes word of mouth, whether it's word of mouth from other tutors, word of mouth from other schools, word of mouth from other parents, word of mouth from other students, right? We get to develop that word of mouth strategy versus kind of leaving it, left out to dry and waiting 2 years before we really have a book solid business and all of that. And I remember you really kind of needed to hustle. Like you were in a space where you had to hustle because you were
Oh, yeah.
leaving the school system. You had
Yeah.
to replace that income. That was a necessity for you. Everybody
Yes.
who joins you guys is like in a completely different place, all right? And I bet you if we go through people who've gone through the program and had success with the program, there's somebody there who has been in a situation that you're in right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so just message me if you're like, I don't know if like this program's going to be right for me, just message me. I'll let you know. I'd be like, I had one person who said I'm I never really had to market my own services because I have been I was with a company and they closed. And so I got all of their students, but now I want to hire other tutors and I don't know how to market. They didn't have to know how to market when they got started, right?
Right.
They were just gifted these students. And so could somebody like that benefit from this? Oh, heck yes.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to learn all of those things that you wished you probably would have known when you took all of those 20 students on your own.
Exactly.
That's going to help you. So I think that's really pivotal for people to understand. Jumpstart doesn't mean it's just for beginners. Jumpstart means we're just going to rev up rev it up like a motorcycle, right? We're going to give you a jump start. We're going to give you a kick start so that everything gets going in the direction you want it to go. We've got Dory, you guys, and Dory I call her my zero to hero lady because like up to week 8, she didn't have any clients. None. She was on the leaderboard like every single week, but she didn't have any students. And I could start to see the like, when is it going to happen for me coming on her entire body and just like, why is this not happening for me? We sat down, I looked at her website and I said, Dory, I don't see you on your website. She's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, I see like all of these images, but they're not like images of you. They're not images of your business. They're stock photos. She like totally did a revamp. She got photos of herself. She added them on in there. And then the magic began to happen. She began to get students. It was so remarkable when that happened. I was like shouting from the rooftop. I think I got the message. I was sitting in my car. My husband was driving somewhere and I got the message, Jory just got a student from like Beth. And I was like, wait, what? What? Yes! Woo! And I was all excited. I'm like, I looked at my husband, I'm like, Dory got us doing. He's like, who's Dory? I didn't tell who Dory was and the whole thing.
And after that first one, they just kept coming.
And then after that, they just kept coming. So before we share like what happened at that point for her, Dory, where were you at when you found me and you decided to join Jumpstart?
I have a very different story from Audrey. So I did not come from the school system. I had been tutoring a while before. If I go back before the pandemic, I had 2 jobs. So my main job was teaching dance, and kind of like I taught dance to adults. So that was in the evenings and on the weekends. So kind of in that little gap of time after school finished, before adults finished work, I tutored, but I did it in person. I traveled from house to house to house. And I had about half of my students on my own, just paying cash, like no business setup at all. And actually probably more than half of my students were through an agency. And then the pandemic happened and I overnight lost my dance business. I lost my dance studio. The other school I worked for let me go. And the agency I was working for called and said, nobody wants online, so we're just closing shop for now. So I got let go of both of my jobs and I didn't know what to do. So I was like, okay, well, I know I can tutor. I wonder if I can do that online, because I'd had one of my in-person students one time was sick and she had an exam the next day. So I tried it online. It kind of worked. I didn't have any idea of the tools that were out there. So I started inventing the wheel on my own. And for a long time, I plugged, like you talked about, I was trying to do things that didn't really make an impact. I wouldn't put myself out there. Definitely no videos or photos or anything of me. It was more, let me create a logo. Let me try to figure out a business name. Let me design some business cards, things like that. And then I eventually looked on Facebook and I saw Joanne and I saw all her videos, and my jaw just dropped when I found the Ultimate Support Group. It was so helpful. But even then, I was trying to do it all on my own. I was trying to like just randomly watch videos and search for things, and it was just me. I had no idea that there was like other people out there trying to do the same thing. And then I saw her Jumpstart course, but even then I didn't join. Even then I didn't join. September happened.
Do you remember why?
Because I didn't want to invest the money because I wasn't working. And I thought, oh, I already know how to tutor. Like, I didn't understand the value that I could get from a course like that. Like,
Right.
I wish I could go back and talk some sense into like the old me.
Yeah.
Oh my
And I
God.
hear so
Yes.
many people at that point. They're just like, I just don't have the money to invest. And I just want to like scream from the rooftop, like, but this is to make you money. So you do have the money, like, even as you go through the program, right? Like, there's a payment plan for you. Like, if you can't afford the program, because as you go through the program, I've had people who get a student in week 1, week 2, week 3, before that next payment is even due, and that money's coming in and it's coming through, and it's like, like, come on, like, if you don't have the money, you should be joining this. That's why you should be joining this.
I was also working on things that I thought were important. And in my head, I was like, well, let me finish that. Let me get my website done and then I'll join. Let me design my business cards and then I'll join. And when I like fast forward, when I actually did join, what happened? I was actually a little bit annoyed at first because I'll be honest, there was so much work to do and it wasn't what I was working on. But then I came to, realize that, oh, I was working on the wrong things. The things I was working on did not get me any students. To this day, have not generated any students. So it really shifted my focus to what is going to get you students. And it gave me a whole community of people who were going through the same thing as me, so I could bounce ideas off, and people who have already done it. So there's people I can ask when I run into those corners and get stuck. And I wish I'd known that or understood that, the value in that at the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I didn't, so when I did find you, what happened was the September, the school system here in Canada changed to full year program to semester. So all of my students from September to December, I was actually, even though I only had half the students, because they were either semestered or quadmestered, meaning doing a full year in 2 months, I was really busy for a short period from like September to mid-November. And then just like that, I lost all of my students. So I went from however many students I had to none. And there were no students in my local area who were taking math from January to June. So I didn't know what to do. And it was at that point that I was out of desperation. I finally joined, finally. And thank heavens. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you got to week 8, and then you ended up getting your first student. And then what happened?
I celebrated. So I got that. Yeah. In that 1 week, I think I had, I don't know, 8 calls, something like that. Like I was getting 2-3 calls a day, which this was after, 7 weeks of radio silence. And then they started signing up. Like the first one, I was just like, okay, it's a call, but there's no way they're going to sign up for me. So then my confidence started building. And in that one, actually, I don't even think it was a week. I think it was like 4 days. I ended up getting, was it 8 or 12 hours of new students in 1 week or less.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I just could not believe
Uh,
it.
I love it. And now fast forward 1.5 years later, and what does your tutoring business look like today?
I am fully booked solid. I have not advertised. I haven't created a new flyer or anything like that since Jumpstart. I had all of these plans of advertising, and I am so busy. I have been so busy that I am now not thinking, oh, how can I get more students? I'm now thinking, how can I grow my business to the next level? I either need to hire tutors or do group classes because I only have so many hours in the week that I can dedicate to tutoring one-on-one. So there's, the reality is there's a cap. So, and I did all of this. I've got to mention that I've also increased my price twice in the last year and a half.
Woo!
And even at that higher price point, I am still fully booked.
Oh, that's awesome. So how much are you charging now, Dory?
I am charging currently 85 Canadian, which is, I do have some US students. So in the US, I'm charging 75 US.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's about the conversion rate there. How about you, Audrey? How much are you charging now for your tutoring?
85.
Awesome.
Finally raised it up, but I do have some that, because they're economic, I get it because I do have levels. So, but the lowest I would go is 70.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's so it's I think it's so eye-opening for people because so many people say, "Oh, but people won't pay that and they won't do this, they won't do that." And it's like they will pay that, but let's get the right strategy in place so that they will pay that, right? Like if I have like that just a logo of myself and I'm not putting myself out there online, if I just have a logo and I'm hiding behind that logo, they're going to think you're a bigger company and they're going to think that underneath you are tutors that are making a lot less money and that the tutoring company is, just this big thing, and we don't realize that that's the image that we're kind of putting on out there. What we really are is professional freelance tutors.
Right.
And people really need to understand the difference between working with a professional freelance tutor and working with a company. Like there is a big difference. And why does it cost so much? Because you are getting quality. And so
Yeah.
quality will trump then, any day, those people that they're willing to afford it, they do see the value, they will pay it. They will find a way to pay it. And I think that's
Yes.
really important when you get that ideal client. So what would you say, Dory, to somebody that they're in the same space as you? They're like, look, I've tutored before and I've been doing in person and that's fine. And I've done some online here. Yes, I want to grow my business. I have 10 students now. And yes, I'd love 30 students with my tutoring business, but I could probably figure it out myself. I've got this.
You could have this so much better. No, my only regret about Jumpstart is that I didn't join sooner. Like I thought that, but the value that I got out of it isn't the value that I thought I would get out of it. I was thinking, oh, they're going to teach me how to make a website. Well, I'm already started with my website. Like I was thinking tasks or technical things, but it's the support, the motivation, the like, I can't quantify it. It's yeah, just don't wait. Don't waste time spinning your wheels trying to reinvent the wheel and maybe focusing on the wrong things. Jumpstart takes your attention. It is a lot of work. But if you put the work in, it pays off, because all of that extra fluff is kind of taken out of the way, and it's just, it puts you on the right course to do what you need to do to get to where you want to go. So just do
Like you
it.
said,
It's perfect.
there's no fluff. Like the assignments directly impact the results you'll get in your business. Like, I know that you need to go through this process or this step. And so it's like, as long as you go through the steps with me, you're not like, I can't work with people who aren't open-minded, obviously, and willing to learn. I can't help those people. But if you kind of like empty your vessel of everything you think you know and come ready to learn, you are going to get a lot of success out of the program, because you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this. Okay, now I'm going to do this activity. Okay, I have this assignment. I know Joanne has a specific reason why she needs me to do this assignment, and it's going to help my business. It's not just like, I just have these random assignments to keep you busy. Like, you remember like back in school when it's like, you ever felt like you were just doing busy work all of the time, and you're like, what is the point of this? There really is no point of this. Every point of every activity is so that we either can change a mindset that I know most tutors and teachers have, and flip it on its head and say goodbye to it, so that you can get the results that you want. Because if that little thing, that little nugget stays in your head, guess what's going to happen? That's what's going to hold you back. And then you're going to say, well, I did the same thing as so and so, but it didn't work for me. Right. And so, like, those are the things that really can hold people back, that they don't even realize that those things are there.
I think I fell into that category 100%, and I didn't know it. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know that. I didn't feel comfortable putting myself out there on, I didn't grow up with social media, that sort of thing. So I didn't feel comfortable putting myself out there. So in my head, I changed that to, well, that's not important. Why would I need to do that? And I convinced myself, without even knowing it, subconsciously, that, oh, this is what's important. But in reality, it kind of allows you, to kind of step outside and take an outside look at your own business from new, fresh eyes. Yeah.
Yeah. And from somebody who's already made the mistakes, that's already been there, and can say, hey, I know you're probably thinking you want to do this at this point. Don't. Skip it. Because you're gonna get better results. We've got Latrice Letty in the house. So excited that you are here, my friend. Whoop, whoop.
Yes. I have to apologize again for my video. I would love to, I like to interact with my face and my hands and things of that nature. So I'm still doing that, still smiling.
Just
But we'll
picture the
get through
hands going
this.
all over the place.
Yes, yes.
They're moving, you guys. She's interacting. She's got
I'm
her groove
interacting.
on. So, Latrice, tell us where you were at with your business before you started Jumpstart.
Oh man. So my story is kind of, I guess, kind of a little bit all over the place, just because I am a military vet and now I am a dependent. So I went from teaching adults in that setting to coming, getting out the military and teaching adults again, then going to subbing to tutoring for a different company, and then us moving from North Carolina to Florida, and in the middle of a pandemic and having to start all over again. But my business, I didn't start my business till like a year ago. So when I moved to Florida, or we moved to Florida, I started tutoring kids in person in my neighborhood and around, that area, and going to their house and things of that nature. And my husband actually saw how much it was taken out of me, that time, my energy, and it's mainly the car ride going from here to there. So pandemic happened, it was going on, and it really vamped up in our area. So the kids that I did have, we end up going to online, because a lot of them got COVID. So, but their parents saw the importance of them still having a tutor and helping them along in that process, because the online learning for them was very hard for them, for a lot of my students during that time. So, COVID happened. I started online, and it was kind of like, wow, this online ain't bad. This is not bad at all. And then I had a friend. We went out to eat, and she kind of knows like all of my history and things I've done in the years of being in the military and out. And she looked at me and was like, "What's next for you?" And I didn't have like information to give her. I didn't have no feedback to give her. And then literally I went home and thought about it. And I was just like, you know what? I need to start my own tutoring business. Okay. So I did that. Really didn't have a clue what I was doing. I started an LLC and got my EIN number and all those things, but I wasn't getting more students. So I was like, okay, Latrice, what are you going to do? Started looking at YouTube. I found you, Joanne, by the grace of God, and just literally went down that rabbit hole, like looking at all your videos, found the Facebook group. I was like, yes. I was like, I found my people. I was looking for that community, I guess the same community that I have with my military people. But I was looking for tutoring people. Like I had all these people that wanted to coach me, but I was just like, you're not really the kind of coach I'm looking for. Like y'all are good. Don't get me wrong. Y'all are excellent at what y'all do. But I need a tutoring coach. I need somebody that can help me with this, And like I said, I found you, and then I saw Jumpstart, and I literally jumped right in. And if you're on the fence, let me say this: if you're on the fence about Jumpstart, please just go to the other side, because I wish I would have found Jumpstart and Joanne many years ago, like in 2018, and done everything I needed to do, because there was so much vital information on how to conduct your business and just different things that I can't even sit here and give you the whole list of everything, but it's so much good information to start your business. Even though I had already started my business, I was still missing so much. I mean, advertising, color, just different stuff. SEO, just so much that I was missing for my business. And once I did that and started doing the homework and all those things started to come together. And my community, I call them my little friends. So my students, I call them my little friends. So my little friend community started building, and I'm just so grateful, because I wasted a lot of money in business cards trying to advertise, and was advertising the wrong way, all that stuff, and then I have my aha moment, I have my own aha moment, and my people now are my advertisement. I could, they're my little friends, my little family, because when I take on, a new student, they're my family. So, I mean, I'm going to football games, if we're in the same community, I'm going to a whole lot of different stuff. Like I'm part of your family now. Like you're not going to get rid of me. I call and check up on them and things of that nature. So it's been a great ride. It really has. I really enjoy it. I am currently in a different country right now. So, and I'm still able to do what I love. I'm actually in Madrid, Spain right now. So I don't have my desktop that I love with the two screens that has everything together, but I'm still doing what I love, and that's what matters to me, and helping out these kids. Yeah. So,
And I think that
and
is
doing
so
Jumpstart.
critical. That's so critical,
Yes,
you guys. Like,
yes.
so did you hear from before? She was living in North Carolina, and obviously she couldn't take any, she completely had to switch like jobs. So she went to Florida, right? And then she started tutoring inside of her community in Florida. And now that she's completely online, she can take it all to Spain with her. Like she is location independent. Her business does not decrease in business because she decides she wants to teach from a different location and explore a different part of the world. That is incredible. I love it. Oh, how awesome. I love it.
Yes.
And in 3 years, I'm gonna be a snowbird, and I'm gonna be able to do what I love 6 months out of the year in Florida, 6 months out of the year
Hmm.
out of Wisconsin, and I am so excited about that, being able to happen, and it's all because we've built this online business, and it's not dependent on kids coming to our home or us going to their
Hmm.
houses or anything like that, and, there I could move, you could move, and we all still have everything going on. I love it. Ah, so incredible. So how many students do you have now, Latrice?
So my summer session, I have about 15 for the summer. So
Okay.
now I have students coming back starting in August.
Uh-huh.
So, and I'm actually tutoring everybody Monday through Thursday. So my stuff is
Nice.
my schedule is really jam packed. And even with
Yes.
my home, I have a added homeschool student this year. So I still have my homeschool student
Nice.
from last year, and I have another one. So yes, so I'm absolutely loving it.
Oh, fantastic. That is incredible. All of you guys are such an inspiration. I love it. I love how you still love what you're doing. You've been able to now make that word of mouth just begin to happen. And that is unbelievable. That's so fantastic. I love it. I love it. I love it. Ah, and you guys are still getting to do what you do. And as we grow in our business, we realize we get to a certain point and we're like, okay, tap the hours that I can actually work for. What else can I build in? How can I scale? How do I want to scale? Do I want to create courses? Do I want to bring in group classes? Do I want to, like, you guys have legit like built such an awesome business, but now it doesn't matter what you build in the future, because that online course that maybe you want to build or that group class, you have the advertising skills to now be able to jump into those other arenas and be able to play with that. If I had just outsourced every piece of my business in the beginning, I wouldn't have learned all of those things that will help me with it. Like if I outsourced my website, oh gosh, I got to create another website for that course I created, or I've got to create another website because now I'm adding tutors to the mix. And it's not just me tutoring, like you now know how to do those things. So let's talk about what do you see? What do you see happening with your business in the next 5 years? So Audrey, where do you see your business going in the next 5 years?
So starting with the group classes, since I'm with that particular school, it just makes it so much easier, especially if they're from the same school, or at least the same district, because everyone teaches all over the place. And hopefully get some tutors, especially tutors that are similar personality. They're not going to be exactly like me.
Right.
So we all know that's usually where the trouble, because people are like, I want you. And you're like, you can't have me. But doing that, and maybe even like just being like a mentor eventually for other tutors or other teachers that are thinking about making the transition, so they're not making the same mistakes. So maybe just carrying on, and then also doing stuff with student athletes, to help them with their process, so we can lessen so many kids going through trauma when they're no longer an athlete.
Oh,
So
that's such a
those are
beautiful
the
mission.
things.
I love that. And a part of that mission comes from your own journey because, Audrey,
Yes.
you were an athlete as well. And so you have this passion to be able to help that specific group of students, which makes you stand out and allows your uniqueness to shine. I love that. How about you, Dory? Where do you see your business in the next 5 years? Oops, you're still muted
Oh,
somehow. There we go. Oh,
good. Okay.
yeah.
um, yeah, I've reached a point where I definitely need to think about what direction I want to grow in. I've considered hiring tutors. I've considered, building online courses, or maybe seeing if I can take some of my online students and put them together in mini groups. I don't know what the answer to that is, but things that I have learned, I approach my business really differently now. Before it'd be, yeah, I'd take any student who came along, and yeah, if they negotiated in price, that's fine. I'd do whatever it took to get them. Oh, you want to meet at 6 a.m. on Sunday morning? Sure. You want to meet at 10 p.m. or 11 p.m.? Sure. Doesn't matter. But now it's like, nope, I have these 3 days off. I'm not working. That's my long weekend. Here are my hours. So I'm structuring my business very differently. I'm running it more like a business now. And so that cohesiveness, I see that becoming more. I see my hours being reduced, but being more effective at the same time. So but I don't know what direction it's going to go. So
Sure.
if you have suggestions, I'm open.
I love it. I love it. I love it because you're in that transition not page, but you're in that transition place where it's like, okay, I've gotten here. I know I could keep this going. This is sustainable, but I want to add something on in there. I'm not sure what that's going to look like. So that's what you want to think about over the next week. Come up with a goal of what do you want your business to look like in the next 5 years. So get nice and clear on that so that you can create that inside of your business. Latrice, I'd love to know what does the next 5 years hold for you, my friend?
Yeah, so 5 years from now. So I had to really look at some things and really decide on exactly what I want to focus on. And what's very important to me is giving back to my community. First and foremost, I want to more go towards homeschooling because I really enjoy homeschooling. And because I actually do that in the morning for about 3 hours. So if I could do homeschooling for like 4 hours in the morning, and that would be lovely for me and my family, things of that nature. And then
Yeah.
I want to be able to say, okay, we're breaking ground on this particular school that I want to build back home in Nigeria. So with that comes a lot of different things, solar system, like just a whole lot of things. Like I have the ground for it now. I have the area. I have the land for it, but is to get everything into place as far as the solar lights and having each student have a laptop and being able to do virtual learning with me on the screen with that selected amount of students, like small amount, because I wanted to start off small with a small amount of students as far as a private school there, no more than probably about 10 or 15 students, and be
Okay.
able to teach them and give back. So that's
Mm.
my 5-year plan.
I love it. And a lot of times as teachers and tutors, we want to be able to give back right away when we start a business. Like we want to volunteer hours or we want to help those kids who can't afford our services right away. And we wish there was a nonprofit out there. So we start thinking, oh, I wish there was a nonprofit that could pay for the services for people. Like then they could afford my services. And those are normal thoughts that go through tutors' heads, by the way, just so that you know. It is a business, so you have to market your business to those who can afford your services. Like there's no other business out there that says I would like to market my services to people who can't afford my services. So there is a group of people that we do have to think about as we are creating these services. But once you have this all up and running, like you're 5 years in and you're like, I want to be able to serve in this way, everything becomes available for you. You have that ability to be able to do that. You've learned all of the business skills that you need in order to make those dreams come true. Because running a nonprofit, like let's say you want to run a nonprofit that does that for real, like that really is like in your gut, that's what you are just led to do. You still are going to have to learn the business side in order to run that. It's not just like people just give you money. Nope, you're gonna have to learn how to solicit money from people so that they can help you, like, fund the things that you want to be able to fund, and you need to know how to talk to them so that they say yes, and there's a lot of skills that need to be learned that we might not necessarily have. So I think, like, don't give up on your dreams, you guys. Definitely keep going for them, and continue rocking it inside of your business. Any wisdom that you guys would like to share with people who are listening?
Well, I would like to, especially when it came to like how to value yourself, and I know we threw a few numbers out there like 85 and 75 and like, oh, I should start there. Like, I'll tell you the truth, I started out with 35 and it took me some time for me to get out of my way to step up. And now I've learned that you just say the price and you shush. And it's up to the parent to say, okay, that's what I want to do. So just know who you are. And then if anything, just put a number out there. And if they take it, it's awesome. Just like what Dory said with hers, like I just put it out there and oh, they want it. And I changed it. Oh, they still want it. Yeah, because you still have your skills. So just know who you are and just move forward.
Yep. Don't get in your own way with it. I still struggle with money issues as well when it comes to that, like knowing my worth. And I've just increased my coaching rate significantly because it's like, hey, I know my worth. I know what I can provide for people. And but I have to also know how to communicate that worth too. So people need to know like what are they going to get because of that. So I make sure that I save that money conversation for the very end if possible. And then after we have that, I just say, are you ready to get started? Because when I don't do that, it doesn't get good results and it shows confidence. So you guys have got this. You have got this. You can do it. Latrice, any advice that you have for people?
Oh yes, I totally agree with Audrey. I started off at $20, but now
Same. I
my
did too.
price has gone way up. Yeah. So yeah, totally agree with her. And the next thing I would say is have boundaries. Have
Yes.
the time that you're working, have the time, set aside for your family, have all that stuff separate. I really struggled with that in the beginning. And in the beginning, I was up like 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, like just doing stuff. So, but have that set time that you're on the computer to do this, get off, and this is your tutoring time, get off,
Mhm.
have that time that you're prepping and get off. Yeah. So one day at a time and really have those boundaries.
Yeah, and it's so, I didn't even know I was even modeling those kinds of things, but I was on a call one day and I was listening to, I was re-listening to something that my friend Heather Bourne, who was also really successful in her business and ended up making $30,000 in the first 10 weeks. Like she just blew the roof off the house. But I was re-listening to a video that I did with her, and she's like, "Joanne," she's like, "You didn't even realize that you were teaching us how to set boundaries when you were on a call with us and your daughter was at the door and you looked at each of us and you said, 'I am so sorry, but I have to go now because I have to spend time with my daughter.'" And I was like, "You're right. I didn't realize I was even like I was showing that to other people because I do have my work time. Like I worked from here to here. Now, I may have insane work hours. Okay, so you may not want to copy me. Like they're like from 6 o'clock in the morning until like 7 o'clock at night. So like you may not want to copy that. I totally get that. But at 7 o'clock, it is her time. Like that's it. Like there's nothing that's going to get in the way of me being with her and being able to spend my time with her. But, for, you know, I also don't work on I only have a half day on Friday and I have Saturday and Sunday off. So other boundaries, like if somebody asks me to tutor on, Friday in the evening, it's a no. I'm not going to do it. Saturday morning, sorry, no, I'm working on my set for jazzercise at that time, so I'm already busy. Or I'm spending time with my family. I'm already busy on those days. Sunday is church for me. Nope, not doing it. And I'm too tired at night, so doing nights classes anymore, out of the question. So, but I always let people know, hey, if this is what you need, let me find another tutor who could help you. See somebody who is, I know lots of people. Let me see if there's anybody that I know that I can recommend. And I do the best that I can to share them out there. Dory, any words of wisdoms you like to share with people?
Audrey, that your stories are so inspirational. The school you're building, wow, that's incredible. And Audrey, you said that your 5-year goal, you hope you will inspire tutors. Girl, you're already inspiring tutors. Like,
Yes.
so just a shout out to both of you guys for that. And a comment on your setting boundaries, Joanne. Yes, it was you who also taught us in Jumpstart that lay out what you want your schedule to be. And every hour that you don't have a student booked, use that to work on your business. That way you're already setting your schedule. Even though maybe you don't have any students, at least now you're starting to get in that mindset of here is when I tutor and here is when. So it's so many little tips like that in Jumpstart that are, you know what? Here it is. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Right? So I didn't know what it was that I needed to learn. That's why I didn't realize the value that I was going to get out of it. So just
Right.
jump. Just jump.
There we go. And the doors are open, you guys, until midnight tomorrow night. There is a link inside of the description, whether you're on Facebook or you're on YouTube. And Beth is going to put a link inside. It's the Jump in 100 link, and you will be able to see a little bit more information, learn a little bit more about the Jumpstart program, see if this is a right fit for you. And then there's a button underneath that video that says to click it and then come on over. In fact, I will share my screen so that you guys can see that. Hey, no judging, by the way, on my screen and how many things I have. But right now I do have a competition, or like it's actually a giveaway that everybody can win. And what you do is you watch the video that is below right here, and then you take the quiz. It's like 6 to 7 questions. And if you do those 2 things, I'm going to send you replays to Impact 2 and my book. And everyone can win. But when my clock hits 0, which it's almost there, you guys, 1 day, 6 hours, 31 minutes. When the clock hits 0, the giveaway ends. So you'll no longer probably see that clock, or you might not even see that text at the top. But the doors are open. So you'll see this right here. You just click on that button and then you can join us from there. So thanks again, you guys, for joining us today. And thanks for sharing your experience from where you were at as you went through the Jumpstart program, your experience becoming a Tutorpreneur Hero Award winner, and then where you're at today. You guys truly, every single one of you is an inspiration. Let's not leave Dory out of that, because Dory, you're doing amazing, amazing things with your business. You guys are all serving people in ways that are so critical and crucial to kids today, and they need the services. So thank you guys for everything that you do, and thank you for being amazing members of our community. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you later.
You
Bye,
too.
everyone.
Bye.